Hello everyone, in this video we will be covering simultaneous equations, the elimination method. Now there are two methods for doing simultaneous equations, the substitution method and the elimination method. I will be covering the substitution method in another video. The elimination method is best when you're using many simple equations, then you can work a lot faster than the substitution method. If we are solving for two variables, we need two equations that are unique. So the number of variables we are solving for is the same as the number of equations we need. So let's do an example with two equations. Let's say we have y is equal to 2x plus 3 as my first equation and 2y minus 2x equal to 7 as my second equation. Now, to do the elimination method, we need to get everything in line. So, we want all our y's on the same side of the equation and all our x's on the same side of the equation and all our constants on the same side. So, the y in my first equation is on the left and the y in my second equation is on the left, so that is fine. The x's in my first equation are on the right and the x's in my second equation are on the left, so my x's are not in line. So I'm going to take this minus 2x to the other side of the equation so that they will be in line. So we will get 2y is equal to 2x plus 7. So I will be using this equation as my second equation. So I will have this. Now, the point of the elimination method is we need to find two things that are the same in both the equations so that if we add or subtract the equations from each other, that term will go away. So here we have a 2x and here we have a 2x. So if I subtracted these equations, the 2x and the 2x would cancel each other out and all the x's would be gone. And if all the x's are gone, the new equation I arrive at will only have y's in it, which means I can solve for y. So that is what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to find if I can get rid of an x or a y by subtracting or adding. So here I can say 1 minus 2 or 2 minus 1, and they will both go away. So I want to keep positive values of y, so I'm going to say number 2 minus number 1. So how I do this is I say 2y minus y gives me 1y. And my equal sign comes in here. I get 2x minus 2x gives me a big 0. And I have 7 minus 3 gives me 4. So I get y is equal to 4. And this is how I've solved for y. Now I need to take this y value and put it back into one of these equations to find what x is. So then I will have y and x. So I'm going to put it in the simplest equation, so I have to do less work. So I'm going to put this 4 into my first equation. And this will give me 4 is equal to 2x plus 3. And now I can solve this equation to find x. So solving will give me x is equal to a half. So my final solution is y is equal to 4 and x is equal to a half. Now, if these two were straight lines, which they are, but if I was working with graphs and I wanted to find the point of intersection of the two graphs, I would do this. And they would intersect at x is equal to a half and y is equal to 4. And that would be my point of intersection. So that is the main use for simultaneous equations. Now let's look at an example where it's not as easy to find out what we need to cancel away. Now let's look at this example. In this example, my second equation looks quite simple, but my first equation has a fraction and it's not clear to tell what we can cancel off with. So I'm sure you guys don't like working with fractions, so first let's manipulate equation 1 so that we don't have to use a fraction. What I can do to 1 to get rid of this fraction is to multiply the whole thing by 3. Then this 3 here will go away. So that will give me 2x plus 6y is equal to 9, because 2 over 3x times the 3 in the bottom and the top will cancel and end up with 2x, plus 2y times 3 gives me 6y is equal to 3 times 3 gives me 9. Now I'm going to use this equation as my first equation instead of this so that I don't have to work with fractions. So I have 2x plus 6y equals 9 up top here. Now it goes without saying that when you're doing this in the test or exam, you're going to need to show all your steps. You're not just going to be removing equations like I am. But for illustrative purposes, I will do it like this. Now, we need to find something that cancels between the two of these. As it stands, if I add or subtract any of the equations, nothing will cancel away. I'll still have x's and I'll still have y's. So I need to manipulate one of these. Manipulating the second one would be easier because it's a very simple equation. So, if I manipulate this, I can make the x's the same or I can make the y's the same. To make the x's the same, I'd have to multiply the whole equation by 2. And then I end up with a minus 2x here, which I can cancel with that positive 2x. Or, if I wanted the y's to cancel, I would have to multiply this whole equation by 6, so that I'd have a 6y here to cancel with that 6y. So I'm going to cancel the x's away, so I'm going to multiply this whole equation by 2. So multiplying by 2 gives me minus 2x plus 2y is equal to 2. So I will be using this as my second equation. So I have minus 2x plus 2y is equal to 2 as my second equation over here. So now if I add these two equations, my 2x minus this 2x will give me 0x. So I will only have an equation that has y's in it. So if I add these two equations, I will be able to solve for y. So adding these two equations will give me 0x plus 8y is equal to 11. So I have y is equal to 11 over 8. Now, y and x are both allowed to be fractions, so this isn't a problem. Now, I have my y value. Now, to get my x value, I'm going to need to take this y value and put it into one of these equations. Now remember, before I messed with my second equation, I had minus x plus y is equal to 1. And that is my simplest equation. So I'm going to put this y into there. So I will have this, where I take my value of 11 over 8 and I put it where y is. So I end up with minus x plus 11 over 8 is equal to 1. So solving this equation gives me x is equal to 3 over 8. And that is also a fraction, but that is also fine because we are allowed to have fractions. So if those two lines were graphed, our intercept where those two lines cross would be at x is equal to 3 over 8 and y is equal to 11 over 8. And that is the elimination method of simultaneous equations. We can use this method with more than two equations if we needed to. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If there are any other topics you would like me to cover in a video, please leave your suggestions in the comment section below. Happy studying, guys!